Hey guys, what's up? Just sitting here editing the podcast. The dogs are barking in the background. Sorry about that. We tried something new this week. We wanted to go live, and Joey had some technical issues. Due to Joey's technical issues, it led to us not being able to use our recorded audio that we normally use because it was just too difficult to edit. So the audio on this is not as good as it could have been, we have had in the past. So we're gonna do a normal podcast next week while Joey figures out what's wrong with his computer, and then we're gonna give us one more shot of going live. So if you want to check us out when we do this the next time, just make sure you're following our Twitch. It's twitch.tv/TCG Scrubs, since we're just gonna be going over card game stuff, and just see if when we go live, you can check out the podcast on a Thursday night as opposed to just waiting for the weekend or whenever he's actually come out, because sometimes I'm late. But here, we'll just go to the podcast. Also, Colin left his little stereo thing on his headphones, so it's a bit of a echoey reverb thing going on, if that's all the same.
What's up, guys? Welcome to I almost forgot the name of it, TCG Scrubs Podcast, episode 98, or 2 episodes, or just like 2 weeks from the 100th episode, which would be pretty cool. We're also doing something a little bit different this go around. We're actually live on Twitch, streaming. We used to do this all the time. We used to do like cool little Q&As and hang out with everybody. We did it like for several weeks. We even did like live games. We used to do like epic stories live with everybody.
Yeah, and then Oscar never played with me ever again.
No. Like with everybody though. Like Friday nights we used to get together and just stream, and we don't do that anymore. Also, it sucks because Lackey doesn't get updated anymore, so we can't really, play that. And I hate Untapped. Just me personally. I get that y'all guys like it. I get that everybody out there watching this likes it, I should say. I don't. I know these guys don't either.
Well, I would be fine with switching back to Lackey.
I mean, it's the only choice we have. Unless we don't play with you anymore.
Switching back to Untapped is what I meant.
Yeah, I figured out what you meant. But like, it's the only option we're gonna have if we're gonna play any games with you. And I realized I'm not looking at you. I was looking at the stream of you. Look away from it. We're live there. You guys can check it out. We're going to do this as often as we can, hopefully weekly, like a schedule, like just every podcast we'll do it live. We're going to be recording at the same time, so you'll get that, better audio version on YouTube as well as on wherever you listen to the podcast, you listen to audio only. So it's kind of just this cool best of both worlds, I guess you can say. So you guys can come join in, talk and chat if you want to bring something up or argue a point that we're arguing about already against us.
And if this is all on twitch.tv/TCG Scrubs as well, if anyone was curious. And separately from that, for video games, it's TCG Scrubs, or twitch.tv/Scrubs Games, I believe is what the URL is.
Which we're gonna be streaming after this, right, guys?
Yep.
I was wondering about that because we usually do the Patreon podcast after this, and so
we're
it'd
gonna
be like, how's that?
Patreon podcast.
Yeah.
So
10 minutes after this.
After that.
10 to 15 minutes after this.
So non yeah. See, Colin got it. But intro stuff. So definitely if you want to support the channel and everything we do here, visit in the links in the description below. Happy Little Hug Factory. Now, usually I'd say pre-order the next set. It's not up yet, but maybe if you didn't get the starter decks for the current set out, the Faria and Melgus, they still have those up. I looked, it's about 74, I think, of the Faria deck. I'm sure it's about 70 of the Melgus as well. So you can pick that up. Reply to one of the comments we got recently on our box opening, where the person was like, "Oh, if you guys missed it," and they're like, "What are you talking about? The set just came out a week ago." It's like, yeah, last set had an issue where nobody could get a hold of it, and that's kind of where we're coming from. So I just wanted to reply to that. Yeah. But head there, keep an eye out for pre-orders. You can check out their singles, check their buy list, and like I said, pick up those sets if you're needing them. Also the patreon.com/TCG Scrubs, where we're constantly upgrading things, doing cool stuff. We haven't done cool stuff actually recently. We need to do some cool stuff. So me and Joey need to set some time aside. Me and Colin need to do that too. Maybe record some games, and I have a Wanderer deck sent over from Bill. We can go over.
Oh, cool.
So that'll be fun. But yeah, you guys head over there, check it out. Should be cool. You have anything else to add?
No.
Holidays were good. Did we do sponsors and everything?
Yeah, that's what I just did.
So I wrapped it up into a nice little neat package, and I was like,
yeah.
Oh, wow.
Joey's looking all cool, his jacket over there.
I hope I look cool, but it's cold over there. Probably cold over there too.
I guess I didn't intro y'all, but I guess it doesn't matter too much.
Yeah, we just waved. I waved.
Yeah. Well, it's just Joe of Joe's Corner, and then there's Colin, formerly of Team Mayor G.
Was he booted out of the team?
I think just dismantled is what it is.
All ARG teams were dismantled.
There you go.
Oh,
That's
no.
probably a better way of saying it.
That was forever ago. Where have you been, Joey? This was like December of last year, I believe. Actually, technically.
What are you talking about?
Yeah, when it unofficially dissolved. Yeah.
Yeah, it has been a while. He's pretty much teamless. Then.
Was it December? I feel like it was December.
Must suck to not be on a team.
Not really at this point, man, honestly.
I honestly like Rogue Skill because like reading the chat and be like, God, I never thought about half the things these guys are talking about. But let's see. I had some topics, but was there any other smaller topics you wanted to bring up? Anything like the holidays wrapped up. We didn't do podcasts. We won't do a podcast for the week of Christmas either, so we'll all be off on that week. What day is New Year's land on? Does it interfere?
What day does my birthday land on? It's on the Wednesday.
So, Joey, are you good for the second? Are you going to be gone?
Yeah.
Are you going to be visiting family?
No. I'll be good. I'll have work and then I'll get home and stuff.
I like how I told Colin, by the way, last week, like, hey, don't forget to remind everybody we're not going to be around for Thanksgiving week. He's like, oh, yeah, forgot about that. He doesn't care about people. That's what it is.
Yeah.
All right, so first topic of the day. I was actually listening to Roller School Podcast, and I was like laughing, not at them, at something different. When I saw it, I was like, I'm going to ask Colin and Joey this question. So Joey pretty much asked them and said, all right, guys, so y'all have had time to play test and really get to know the meta. So what are y'all's new opinions on where the meta is now that y'all have done all this testing? What's the good decks? Where are they at? What's going on?
Well, you can't ask me that because I haven't done any testing at all. So
yeah, I can't ask either one of y'all. None of y'all, not even me. We have none of us done testing. That was the joke of it.
Okay.
None of us
Funny joke.
right now.
Can I ask what the answer was?
Oh, I didn't really watch the whole thing. I just saw that part.
I want to know what the meta is. I want to know if I'm correct that red black.
I had a lot of videos to edit, so I couldn't stay the whole.
So
time.
Joey thinks that red black is the meta.
Yeah, I've heard some stuff like that.
Yeah.
That red black is pretty much. It's red black is really good. It's not like say the meta define. I think people are still on the divinity thing only because there's more sets of it to support it than there are of what we have now, and I'm sure we'll see.
And the biggest thing in any TCG is consistency, and runes still give you a choice of 5 cards that you can play at any point in time from turn 1 to the end of the game. They're always there, always. Whereas Strangers is randomized, and so just that fact alone is. I think runes will always passively technically have an advantage over it just because randomization or consistency is such a big advantage in any TCG.
I disagree just a little bit. I think that if your randomization is like insanely overpowered, then it doesn't matter what consistency you have because
I have faith though that they won't make it overpowered.
I mean, I think it's already kind of there with some of this stuff, but I'll also say that you know what else is super consistent? Guinevere and Rookegg. That's a pretty consistent. Makes your deck
I hate Guinevere so much. It is literally like the most toxic card. One of the most toxic cards that were left over from the previous clusters that they decided to bring back. And I know people love Guinevere. They're like, people like Guinevere.
Banned in Wanderer. Like they even saw how powerful it was in Wanderer.
I get people like it. Whatever. I liked Severine Winds, but I recognize Severine Winds is super strong. And Guinevere is such a toxic card to play against as a player. There's nothing fun about it. There's no interaction with it because it's a banish effect.
I'm glad it's back. I was glad it's back only because and we have a gameplay that's going to come up at some point. I'm sure soon. What did you schedule the gameplay?
It should be coming out tomorrow, or not. It comes out Sunday. So if you're watching this on YouTube, it'll be coming out tomorrow.
Yeah. or if you listen to this on the day of release, it's the next day. But there's plays using Guinevere that I was like, oh yeah, I forgot how good this was. Yeah, swing in, calm block.
And that's like, oh yeah, no, I forgot how good these plays are with Sherry, where she just counters everything and gets all these benefits. Oh, I missed this. It's like, I guess you can miss that, but it still doesn't change. That's super dumb and toxic.
Colin was like, play this, destroy that. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna second to Guinevere.
Yeah, it's literally just a passive. It's the same reason that from the get go I was saying that Alter was terrible, because it's basically got like a static Guinevere that can do it infinitely, but instead of drawing cards, you get to search for any card and just straight up put it into the field.
Guinevere has to rest herself at least.
Yeah, that's what I just said. I said Alters can do it over and over again.
Yeah. I know in other videos that we're probably going to record soon, hopefully this weekend, we can record one of them. I'm going to show off just a tribal version of like a Lenneth deck where it's just like focused on red-white shenanigans with goddesses. I don't know what Colin's going to do. And then at another time, I'm going to restructure it to be like, I'm actually trying now with this Lenneth deck. But I'm going to show a Lenneth deck, hopefully. Yeah,
I'm still figuring some stuff out.
I might put together like an aggro Melgus list with some of the swiftness stuff that we have, because I still did really like my like aggro Isis deck, but I think Melgus has a lot of cool stuff.
Yeah.
I don't think Far has got a lot going on.
Okay, definitely want to play with you, man. That was a lot of fun. Like we would play a lot. Once DBV released, we played a lot. Like if you think about it, we may have not recorded it and streamed everything, but we did quite a few games. It was pretty fun. So moving from there, like we had a new product show. We saw the starter decks as well as the booster box for the next set coming up. Now the next set coming up, we had already been teased with Machina. Everybody pronounces it Priscia or Priscia as I say it, and Valentina. And we kind of got confirmation on colors in that. So Priscia is a green-red deck. Valentina was, I believe, blue-black, right? And then the box kind of refers to that Machina will be blue-green, which I guess was expected, seeing he's blue-green when he came to Decisive Battle for Valhalla. So my question was, if you look at this first set, the first Alice Origins 1 set, it's easy to look at it and be like, oh, okay. Actually, no, let me correct myself. If you look at the starter decks, a lot of the cards from the starter decks are pulled from the dual decks. So if you go with the same concept and you look at Priscia, Valentina, and Machina, and then a lot of their deck cards being pulled from their starter decks, like is there some cards you're looking forward to seeing that came out of those starter decks from back then?
So just to kind of clarify, because there are 3 starter decks in this next set.
No, there's 2.
Same layout as this one.
Machina is like the buy a box promo essentially.
Okay, got it. I was like, I didn't want to say like starter deck stuff from Machina or anything because that's kind of wait. There's 3 rulers, but I thought
no. So the start. Let's look at Priscia and Valentina then. So Priscia and Valentina are actual starter decks, and they were starter decks back then. So I'm assuming there'll be at least a couple of cards that should be reprinted within this next set that may have come from their starter decks, and that's kind of what I'm referring to. Like, which ones do you think that will actually be coming into the set?
I mean, if they do 4 Sacred Beasts, I still don't think any of them are really that good. So I'm not too excited for those. Gosh, I don't remember what Valentina had.
I pulled it up. If you look in the chat on the Discord we're on, you'll see. I pulled them up. It's just like I'm assuming the Sacred Beasts are going to reprint it.
Rapid Growth would actually be pretty cool, especially because it had oh my gosh, the Graveyard Effect.
The Graveyard Effect.
So
it had you can cast it from your graveyard, right?
Remnant,
yeah. I couldn't remember what what it was called.
Yeah,
I don't think they're bringing back Horn.
Oh yeah. I mean, having beasts in general, I think is gonna getting more of those could be good because there's so much potential support for beasts passively.
But they won't be beasts. There'll be sacred beasts.
No, I'm saying regular beasts.
Are there any regular beasts in Ginger?
I don't know. Is there?
No.
Okay. Well, from the set it says
Right?
themselves,
Yeah,
I feel like there'll be regular beasts.
Well, yes, but we're talking about the starter
Yeah,
decks, right?
I can't see a starter deck side. I just gotta.
Oh, I know. Okay, do you guys think
You can look on your phone.
Horn of Sacred Beasts is gonna come back with like the regular Regalia format? And do you think it's gonna like search out cards?
I think it's gonna be the same format the other ones are.
I'll be really bummed out if it is. My hope is, even though they're using the copy paste format for the rulers and regalia, that at least it changes from set to set. So this set, they'll all be identical functionally for the most part, but it'll be different than this set. That's my hope. If it's the same format as this previous set, then that's like super like uninteresting or exciting. I feel like if it at least like switch up the formula so we have 4 different formulas by the end of the cluster. I mean, I still think there should be a different formula for each card, but if they're saving time or whatever, at least make it for each different set.
Yeah, I think it's just gonna be the same thing.
Do you think it'll because the original Horn lets you or am I thinking of
You're thinking about something else because Horn just came in and you would I had it pulled up here a second ago.
You would sack
tapped it
and shuffle your
well, that's what everybody used it for. No, it had a beast use, which I think is what this is going to focus. I think they're going to scrap out the whole sack it and do something with it. It's going to be focused on the beast. So tap, produce 1 void, spin this will only to play 4 sacred beast cards. Other ability was that tap, your Jabbler gains +2/+2 until end of turn. If it's Prisha, then it gains imperishable. So I don't know about this tap part because I noticed none of them have their tap for +2s.
Yeah, I don't think.
But some sort of play on making beasts cheaper or even just playing them. I don't know. How would that work? Because you think about it, like if it's cookie cutter like the other ones, it's going to have the tap ability for producing green red for a stranger / whatever art / something.
Sacred beast or something.
It's probably
There you go, I guess.
Exactly. It's probably just going to produce for
Instead of making stuff cost this, you can just tap it to pay for stuff. I think that's functionally identical. And it yeah, Jay.
No.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, he cut out on me.
But yeah, no, I think I'm hoping that the Prisha ruler itself does something cool with like when it flips over to the J ruler side, like putting in, or either that or its God's Art is like searching out the sacred beasts and putting them into the field or something like that to make it so even if the sacred beasts aren't super great, you're able to get them so easily that makes up for the power levels and stuff like that.
So the sacred beast or a sacred beast? Because
I
remember, I think the last one had a God's Art where you paid a certain color and you searched that one out, right? Wasn't it like the God's Art? If
I'm trying to
think
think
certain colors, you'd search out that certain colored.
Yeah, no, I don't like that. But I'm trying to think of the way to word this. But like, say there's 4 sacred beasts. It'd be cool if it just searched out up to 4 different sacred beasts of different names that you do not control. Does that make sense? So if you have If you have 1 on the board, you search for the other 3. If you have 2 on the board, you search for the other 2, and so on and so forth. I think that would be kind of cool. That might be too strong. Maybe you make her judgment more than the others instead of 3. Or you get rid of the passive ability of the judgment becoming 0 if you play Regalia. Something like that to balance it out. But I think that would be kind of cool, a way to field populate. Because I don't think we have to worry about that. If we don't have to worry about 17,000 giants going in the field being a big threat in this crazy format, then I don't think we have to worry about 4 sacred beasts entering the field.
I know. I'm trying to be sneaky.
Yeah.
You're not.
Yeah, so you're being sneaky about like clack 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 clack.
Are we gonna keep on going?
Yeah. You're not. You didn't stop recording, so we'll just keep going.
Yes, I did.
His computer crashed. He said.
Oh, your computer. I can't see Discord.
So hit record again, and we'll clap you in. obviously we're trying new things, guys. So not everything's gonna work out. So I guess the beginning half of the podcast, I'll pull it from the stream, and then this last half hopefully will be better audio. And apologies while we figure things out.
Yeah.
Let me know when you're ready to clap in, so I can turn my audio back on.
Sorry. I'm ready to
Go for it.
clap.
Okay.
Your entire computer crashed?
Yeah.
You. There's something wrong with your power supply, most likely, or you plugged it in wrong somewhere.
I've been. Well, no, it's not my power supply. It's my. Hold on.
No, probably your power supply.
So you think Sacred Beasts will be reprinted, or you think they'll do new ones only because like the cost of like the current ones being like kind of expensive? Like we have a 2 cost, a 3 cost, a 3 cost.
Of course, I don't think they will, but I do think they're pretty bad.
I feel like given the choice of making new ones or reprinting them, they'll probably reprint them if the numbers hold to. Because like if they don't reprint those, what are they going to reprint inside of the Prisha deck? I feel like their options aren't as wide as they are for some of the other stuff. So I feel like they're most likely going to reprint rather than make new ones. And like I was saying, just create effects around them that make their high cost or whatever negligible. So you weren't here, Joey, but I was saying like basically indirectly, her judgment will always bring out 4 sacred beasts into the field, or her gods art, something like that, and that would offset any high costs or anything like that. Because you would always, when she judgments against the 4 sacred beasts on the field, then either the regalia or a field card or other beasts you control get bonus effects based on how many sacred beasts you control and stuff like that.
Would there be any 4 sacred beasts like as strangers?
They could create them essentially, because some of the sacred strangers already had their race type and then had the strangers apprentices, so they could create 1 or 2 or whatever they want to do and throw it into the set. I'm interested in seeing, I think mostly what they're going to do with the machines, because machines in the past were void. So
and even the promo they printed was void.
Are they going to reprint them as I'm sorry, are they going to print new ones that are blue-green and then be like, we'll cherry pick like 2 or 3. They'll come back from back then. They'll be void, but you're not going to have a bunch of them, just to make it super, not unfair or something like that,
Here's they'll probably be blue-green. Like, I don't think they would make Machina blue-green and then like backtrack on that. So it's really hard.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like they're going to maintain the blue-green thing, but they'll at least bring back some reprints that will still be void, is what I'm trying to get. Like, here's Clockwork, whatever his name is, the flying dude, and it's like he's one of the reprints, and he still maintains void.
Well, the weird thing is
also, and like, I was kidding. Go ahead.
Is that they're coming out with this? It's not Machina Star deck, which is what I would have assumed they were doing, but it's the booster box with all these cards, and then we're also getting what will most likely be a somewhat machine-centric booster set in the form of Ghost in the Shell later on inside of this same cluster potentially, which is super weird. So that's a lot of machine stuff, and we saw already with Major that she's void. And so I'm thinking what they're going to do is they are going to, for the reprints are all going to be like the void machines. I think that's going to be straight up that. Maybe it depends with, I don't know their strategy anymore, but they could reprint some BFA machine stuff, which is blue. But I think it'll be mainly void machines, and the support cards will be blue-green around the machine. So all the machines are void, and all the chance additions, regalia, and stuff like that will be the ones that are blue-green with resonators that are like humans that are blue and green that support the machines, similar to BFA. Because BFA had void machines, but machine was a blue deck because it had all this blue support, and I think they might go a similar route.
Yeah, I mean, I think that it's going to be mostly chance support. Like, look at Lyneth. What did she get, resonator-wise? She got, 2 really good resonators, right? That's Aliceris and Athena.
I don't remember.
They're printed for her to go in her support. And then a lot of it was reprinted from back in the day, a lot of the goddesses, and a lot of it is just chance. His starter deck is essentially just in the set itself. And he's going to pull and reach from Valentina and Prisha, whatever he'd want, that is the mono color of either blue or green. And I think that it's going to be the same way. I think it's going to be the chant part, I think there's going to be maybe 1 or 2 new machines that are actually a blue-green machine. And then I think there'd be a couple of randomly picked like void ones, like one of the clockwork ones. And then I was going somewhere with this. I already lost the train of thought where I had it. I mean, but you get where I'm trying to go with it. It's like I think it's going to be structured like this. I think, the blue stuff from BFA. If you look at the blue stuff from BFA, none of it was machines. It was machine support. Like, this guy comes in the field and gains +2/+2 for each machine you control, or something like that. Like,
your machines cost 1 void less. Yeah.
Or weren't some of them pre-machines also? Like wasn't Maria Bella like the actual little assistant girl?
Yeah, she was.
She was void.
She was void color.
She was void.
She wasn't. Was she human or was she a human/machine? I can't remember.
I'm actually not sure what she was.
Yeah. So I was just curious if we're gonna get to see more of that like Maria Bella kind of stuff, and like that'll be blue and green. Because it could definitely be interesting to give us like human/machines. Kind of.
Yeah, she was human/machine.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I think that's right. Especially Ghost in the Shell is very obviously can be human/machine for a lot of it.
Yeah.
So,
did you guys talk about any of the Valentina cards?
No, we didn't touch on that.
Okay, because I think Gleipnir and Medusa are both going to be really cool. Like, I'm
Medusa,
definitely thinking Medusa could actually be a pretty interesting card.
I bet you they reprint the blue black Valentina from Lapis Cluster.
That's a little far out though.
I mean, I know they did print Grim and they did Thunder. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I don't think there's. That's true. That and also the Strangers were supposed to be Valhalla artwork, and they pulled from later clusters and stuff. So I feel like they have a baseline, but they don't actually care too much. So they're like grabbing whatever works good.
Or they see just a justified, reason, like, well, this makes sense because it's already blue black, so boop, and they bring it over as just a normal card.
Yeah, possibly. But at that point, why not just make a new card? But anyway,
so yeah,
go ahead.
I was gonna move it on.
Yeah, it's fine. Are we moving on to the cool?
So we're gonna move on to something that we had come up between me and Colin. Okay. Now, we're not gonna taint Joey's mind with the argument yet. We're gonna say that for the last event. Joey, I'm gonna show you some photos, and you
guys can play along too.
Yeah, you're gonna tell me if a photo is a 0, right? In artwork, being closer to the fantasy world, or if it's a 10 and closer to the anime art style.
So American versus Japanese.
Okay, so I'm just basing it off of anime versus real life-esque kind of deal.
Not real life-esque, because it's fantasy.
Like fantasy. Okay, got it. Okay, I love the super. Got it. Okay.
All right. So now you have that. I'm gonna show you just several photos,
10, right?
And that's 0 to 10. You rate it. Joey's the anime guy, by the way, guys. So he reads what manga. He watches his anime. He's a sub guy, not a dub guy. He's strictly sub, right?
I am a weeb.
Get that dub stuff and throw it out the window. That's what you say, right?
Some of the best, for the record, some of the best anime voice actors are in dubs.
That's not true.
Yes, 100% true.
There's some pretty bad ones.
Well, yeah, but there's some pretty bad subs as well.
All right,
I prefer
so Joey,
Goku's dub though. So.
0 to 10. Yeah, no, because that original voice is horrible. All right, so here's your first image, and you can rate it for us.
You can double click his Discord thing to white full screen it.
It's good. 7.
7. Okay, guys, in the comments, write down as we go along if you're following.
Yeah, write down if you disagree.
7.
I'm looking at where I'm clicking on my screen, but I'm like, my eyes are darting to the side, like looking at Colin's like face of I'm not even gonna say it. Here we go. Next one.
I don't know, like another 7. Okay, so my issue is obviously these are like they're just drawn as like anime girls, so it's really hard to rate them as serious.
Yeah, I don't know where Colin was going with this anymore. We're gonna keep going.
Well,
No. We're gonna keep going. We're gonna keep going.
I know. I'm just saying.
Okay.
Here we go.
I'm just saying.
Like a 5. I think maybe a 6. Like a 5. I give this one like a 3.
Hey, that's a stranger.
This is like a 6.
I had one more I didn't add. Let me throw it. I didn't throw it in because it was supposed to be from Valhalla stuff, but there you go, there's another one.
Oscar just like being a little like,
This is like a 7.
I like this card.
7?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oscar's voice during that.
So this was an argument that me and Colin had earlier. It wasn't even necessarily an argument; it was a conversation, but it led to become an argument because
Oscar
Colin
makes it an
did
argument.
in this company. So we were talking. He said, "Hey, something like how do you say?" He said that there's a conversation that's being had between people.
Oh,
in the community.
I said I'd seen couple different just like comments about this. It wasn't like anything like positive or negative.
Yeah.
I just saw general comments
Right.
noting this,
and not like some big thing that people were talking about. It's just like he had seen some stuff.
we just have
said,
regular
"Hey,"
Conversations, Oscar and I. So this is just one of them that came up.
We had some weird conversations too. We had some really weird ones. It was saying that Force of Will looks way more anime today than it ever has before.
Or no, it became more.
Right.
It's over time become more. So at this point now, it's way more than this point. It didn't like overnight become like this, but yeah.
Yeah. And I said, I don't know. I feel like it was the same as it always has been. Okay. Going through what I've gone through for these pictures, I may actually say, I think it's been the same as it has been in the quantity of anime images. I think that what it was there's more fantasy thrown into there on top of that. Does that make sense?
In the early parts or
Early parts, yeah.
Yeah.
Compared now. And I think that it's the same number of anime now, but just fewer fantasy ones because some of the sets are smaller,
Well,
some are reprints.
I think maybe.
I think that's.
I think maybe that, but also let's say it was 30% very anime-esque cards in Valhalla, and it's still 30% now. Let's say that hypothetically is the case. I would still say the 30% now is like way more like anime than back then. Back then it's like, I'll
agree with you because that's why I start to gather from Joey's.
Yeah, Joey's response.
Like 7, and then when he got to the ones from OG Valhalla, he's like 5, 6, 5. You know, like, okay, yeah, they've juiced up the animators of this.
Although I completely disagree with Joey's 7 across the board. I completely disagree.
Well, there's nothing really like that anime based about them. Like
That's an 8 at minimum, an 8.
What is? I mean,
look at all that thigh you see. Come on.
Like I get it.
I like. We can't see your mouse, Oscar, but I like when you said that. The square highlighted, so I know you pointed your mouse at the thigh when you said that.
Like I guess art style wise, if you guys had told me like based on art style, I would have given this like a much higher one.
Yeah.
It also like I'm also a lot kind of like desensitized to a lot of.
Well, that's why I tried to get that baseline of 0 and the caster image at 10. So you're going off that baseline, not necessarily what you think of anime in your head, is what I was trying to go off of with the baseline.
Yeah. But that's why I still feel like this is
like I feel like this, if that caster's was an image was a 10, there's no way this is like that much less than that Caster Chronicles image.
It has
put them side by side, Oscar.
It has less themes from anime is my issue with it.
Like what's a theme?
This in the caster one?
This and the caster one.
Like the caster one has more like themes from anime because it's like she has like the little succubus wings. She has the like tights, the skirt. She has like different colored, different stockings. Like she has a little wing like thing, and it's just. That's so much more anime than this one, which is very much more like the only anime themes about this is like the large breasts, the thigh showing, and the invisible kind of frilliness. But look at like the
and it's also kind of magical girly. I feel like
dragon going,
the left one feels kind of like magical girly with the scepter and everything. And
see, here's the thing, is me and Colin were talking about it, and we went through the database. I put up all of Al's cluster. I'm like, he was like, no, yeah, no. He also said dragons don't count, and I was like, no,
yeah. Creatures don't count because those have never been anime outside of like 1 or 2 in Force of Will, and backdrops don't count because those kind of take on a fantasy look even in anime.
I acknowledge the backdrops one, but. And it was funny, and he's not bringing it up now, and I'm actually kind of happy he's not. But at one point, he goes, like I told you, like everybody's been saying, it's more Caster Chronicles than it's ever been before. I'm like, whoa.
No. He's rewording that. He's rewording that.
More anime. And he's like, no, I told you. Caster Chronicles.
No.
And he kind of gone. He went off on a tangent, and we just went our own ways. I went one way, and he went the other way in the room we were in, and I was like, whatever, man.
No. This is Oscar complete. I said. My point I was getting at is that it's more anime, and I think it's going to keep going this direction and become more. I said it's going to become more like Caster Chronicles, like everything else in the game. Everything else in Force of Will is now officially Caster Chronicles outside of like the art, as far as like how it's structured or how the production side is. And so my point was with how like anime this past set and then this or 2 sets ago and then this past set is, I feel like. It's stepped up even more, not like a significant amount, but like say 10% more, and I think they're dipping their toes to eventually by the end of the cluster make the full transition to Caster Chronicles style thing. Because then, if they do that, they can streamline the artists and styles, and it'd be the art direction would be identical for both essentially. So they'd be able to basically run the 2 games under the same roof and stuff like that.
Less work.
I'm not saying it's casters right now. I'm saying. That's the end goal is casters as far as artwork. I'm not saying that's a good or bad thing because obviously I really like casters artwork. Here
I got it. He really likes casters artwork, guys. Here you go. that's what Colin.
That's like an 11.
Vampire, when did you get here?
So I'm gonna make the argument / point that a couple things. One, we kind of talked about this like months ago, and it was more about how Forceful had actually gotten more lewd compared to the previous sets, and Melissa and I think we were doing the same thing, going through and saying like, okay. Is this card lewd? Yes, no. Is this card lewd? Yes, no. Is this card lewd? And so, very similar, lines. Like I do agree that it's gotten more anime, but I don't think it's by much. Like I still go back and look at stuff like old. It's like look at old Athena, and then look at like new Athena. And it's like yes, there's still like the new Athena has better artwork. Like it's more anime-esque artwork, but the old Athena is plenty anime, and she still has like the huge tits.
Well, see, I've said like if the amount of anime stuff, let's say it went from 30% to 35%, and it still does the tropes and everything, I would still say visually the specific cards if they were like 50% anime, like delving in before, they're up to like 70% now on the individual. So even if like the amount hasn't increased, the individual cards, how anime they are, has increased. And so you can see that in things like the amount of bright colors. Like even in the old cards you saw with Oscar, it's more dulled down colors, and now it's a lot more bright and colorful, similar to things like Casters. And it's more you could see it in like the outline of characters, the difference between like say manga, which I feel like the older Valhalla and stuff is closer to like manga artwork, whereas anime has the different style of lines of character outlines. Do you know what I'm talking about, Joey?
Yeah, I mean, I don't necessarily agree, because like I would say
lines and shading.
I would say it's the difference between old manga and like new manga. Where,
That
like,
could be. I don't know new manga.
the old.
But it's okay. We lose Joey sometimes. It happens. But I think lines and shading, I think shading was the bigger one I should have focused on. But because that's what stands out to me. Because if you look at the newer cards, there's like very little shadow, or shadows that are on it are very deliberate. It's not like realistic, like, oh, the sun is here, so the shadow's here. The way they do shadows is very deliberate and stuff like that. But now I don't want to talk about anime without Joey. Now I'm sad.
I mean, we can go ahead and wrap it up here.
Yeah, we'll wrap it up and go to the Patreon podcast here. We will discuss some interesting things.
Hopefully, if you guys listen to this either on YouTube or on SoundCloud, apologies if the audio isn't on the level it usually is. I'll probably end up using the live stream audio in combination kind of with mine and Colin's audio. Just Joey's audio, I guess, would be the stream audio, if anything. I kind of have to use all of it, and I don't know what to figure it out. We'll figure this out, going forward and make things better. Maybe if it doesn't work out this way, we just don't do live streams of the podcast. Joey's computer obviously can't handle. He got a new computer, and he's figuring things out. And it may be something that is just not working the way it's supposed to be working. Other than that, this would have been great.
He built it on his own. And for the record, I told him just to buy one. That way he doesn't have to worry about it. But I think he just missed a cable somewhere. Is my hypothesis.
So he's back.
Joey, don't talk. You're gonna mess this up.
Yeah, thank you guys for joining. We'll see you next time.
All right.
And we'll bye.
Bye.